Yeah, well, I'm Oscar. I'm part of Youth and Power of the Struggle. I'm the president. And let me just set up real quick. We're kind of limited on time.
Okay, so my name is Sirena. I'm a freshman here. I came from Racine, and I've been involved with US for a few years now, from high school now here at UW.
Hi, my name is Lucero. I'm from Racine as well, and I have been involved with this since high school, and now I'm here at UW.
Yeah, I'm about to pull up our presentation real quick, but I mean, I've been involved with Yes and for like 2 years, and in just a second we'll explain what we're all about. Don't go anywhere, folks. Right? Oh, yeah, full screen. Where? Oh, okay. All right. I don't like sitting down.
Hit allow.
What's that? Oh, okay. Let me just take the sweater off so it'll be suitable for the occasion. All right. Hey, can one of y'all switch? All right. Okay, let me just sit. I like standing. I don't like sitting down. I've been sitting down all day. All right. So, yeah, we're Youth Empowered in the Struggle. Lucero, you want to tell them?
Youth Empowered in the Struggle stands, or YES. We are a student-led group. We work for student, immigrant, and workers' rights. We do a lot of events here at UW, I believe, and we also have a lot of chapters. We have some in Racine, and those are high school chapters. Racine and a lot here in Milwaukee.
Has everyone heard of Voces La Frontera? Probably only, if not, for sure, the largest immigrant rights organization in Wisconsin. So yeah, we're the youth branch or student branch, and you know, we're going to talk about tuition equity for undocumented students. That is a campaign we have going on, and that is our new logo, which is pretty sweet. It's on the back of the shirt. I wish we had some more of these shirts and give them up what we go.
Well, right now we're fighting a campaign we're doing a campaign for tuition equity, which would give the rights for students who are undocumented and want to go to college the chance to pay in-state tuition. In 2009, we got tuition equity while Jim Doyle was governor, but when Scott Walker came, we cut tuition equity from the budget. The campaign started actually last summer, and it relaunched this summer.
Yeah.
That's passed.
So do we all know what it means to be undocumented? Raise your hand if you don't be shy. I just want to make sure we're on the same page. I'm pretty sure we are. Okay, awesome. By the way, that's our awesome logo. Jorge made this. It's great. Okay, wonderful. So yeah.
Yeah, this is when they did the relaunch this summer. There are some students that are doing a rally, and I think this was in Milwaukee.
Yeah, this was in Arrowhead Park, downtown.
Okay, so our mission statement, the ultimate objective of this campaign is to pass a tuition equity bill through the Wisconsin legislature, acknowledging the current situation in the state's political structure. The passage of such bill seems unlikely in the near future. The secondary objective is to rebuild a militant immigration youth movement that will build up support and ultimately achieve the passage of this bill, and perhaps after pieces of legislation that will
Yeah, so there's some states, as they mentioned, that pass tuition equity bills. Currently, I think California is the only one who passed a bill along with financial aid for undocumented students. As you can imagine, historically, that's Chicano state, right? Used to go into Mexico, so the movement, the immigrant rights movement, is a lot bigger over there So they were able to achieve that. You know, and the most recent one was in Florida where they passed tuition equity, and now we have to get that over here, right?
So the structure for our campaign, we have a few teams working on finance, media, recruitment, the events, and data. And we also have teams around Wisconsin. In Milwaukee, there's a lot of teams that are in the high schools, the colleges. We have one at Marquette and METC and here, obviously. And then there's people in the community that are working on this. In Racine, there's high schools. There's students at UW Whitewater. They're called Dream Scholars, and they're also working on this. And then in Parkside, and that's in Kenosha, there's the Latino student organization that's there, also is working on this. Do you want to talk about?
Yeah, we used to have a YES chapter in Parkside, but I think they became inactive like 2 years ago. However, a close friend of ours, he's the president of this organization, LSO over there, and I think he's also on the student government, so he's been helping us out. And inclusively, he introduced a resolution for Parkside to support tuition equity, to support the campaign, to make a statement essentially. So that's one of the things we're doing with this campaign. We're getting public statements from, you know, deans, from chancellors, vice presidents, etc. You know, we want to, I mean, obviously their voice, their statement has power, so that's one of the ways we're going about this. Just a brief timeline of, you know, kind of what we've been doing. It's not a complete timeline because the campaign really started, you know, like she mentioned, late 2013. But in early 2014, you know, that's when we were really getting ourselves together. Since this campaign has been going on since 2009, and, you know, I'm sure we all heard the big hype about immigration reform. So that's, you know, immigrant rights organizations across the country, we're just focused on that, getting federal legislation passed. Unfortunately, you know, that did not happen, as Obama promised. So a lot of states resorted to, you know, fighting for winning in-state battles, passing in-state legislation, whether it's driver's licenses, whether it's stop deportations campaigns. So, you know, we started this campaign. It launched in June. There was a big strategy session. It was the first time we got together with our other work teams from, you know, Whitewater and the other ones we mentioned, Marquette. And we formulated, what are we going to do with this campaign? We always formulate a timeline like this to, you know, really guide us through. So yeah, and there was a YES retreat for our high school chapters, and they also kind of essentially planned out what they're going to do as high school students for tuition equity. I think we have like about 12 chapters in MPS high schools. There's some that are more active than others. For example, Ronald Reagan High School, some of you may know it. They have a strong chapter there. There's one in Carmen High School, etc. So that's what happened in that retreat. And then August, just last month, we Jocasta Samaripa, earlier this, I should have mentioned this earlier, she introduced a bill earlier. This is how really it started. And she introduced a tuition equity bill, but there was no movement behind it. Out of nowhere, I remember someone contacting me, oh yeah, she's introducing a bill, so we better get on that. You know, it was looking real bleak. Of course it didn't pass in this past legislative session. So, however, we got her support, we got her on our side. And, you know, we have pictures of her pulling up, I support tuition equity. So, you know, that's what's going on with that. And of course, the primaries, it's important because Mary Burke is one of the targets that we had. And she publicly, you know, made public statements and she supports us, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. And actually, if anyone has questions, anything, feel free to raise your hands. I know I'm talking kind of continuously. So, you know, now we're in September, and there's the YES chapters. They're the high school ones. They're, you know, going about doing what they have to do. I don't really know the details, but, you know, essentially we want to publicize it, the issue. We want to get support from as many people as we can, gain allies. So now that's where we're at right here. And, you know, as we go on, we want to, you know, write this bill. We want to get, right now that's what we're in the process of, how the bill's going to look like. who can we get support to write it other than Joe Casas on America. And I mean, you know, at the end of this year, we're gonna finalize the bill, and the next slide, yeah, I mean, that's just another view of it, looking at it in faces. You know, we're really still switching on to phase 3 in this campaign. Right, elections coming up, and then the legislative session earlier next year. So, just some of the, I don't want to reiterate what I just went to. So, so yeah, you know, there's people doing different kind of things for the campaign, marketing it different ways. We had a lot of social media work done. I don't know if anyone's seen on Facebook, people holding up "I support tuition equity" signs. We did that at UWM actually last semester. We're going to do that again within the next few weeks. So just kind of, yeah, I mean, it's not looking good for us, right? I mean, passing this legislation. So, and as I mentioned earlier, a lot of people have been disillusioned with the Democrats. So that's kind of where we're at. You know, I mean, even in the immigrant rights movement, people, some organizations sought Republican support, right, for passing federal legislation. You know, they're really, you know, they're really frustrated, especially now with this latest announcement that Obama said that he's gonna withhold from taking action with deportations. Sure, that's another subject, but the point is, we're frustrated with the Democrats. So, yeah, I guess we can go to the next slide. Yeah, just kind of reiterating real quick. So this bill, it's probably going to go to the Committee on Colleges and Universities because that's where it was before. And Representative Stephen Nash, earlier this year, he decided not to put it on the agenda. So, you know, it didn't go on a vote. We expected it. Hopefully this next time will be different. We're going to skip this slide for now.
Okay, so right before school ended last year, we had a bunch of students from high schools in Racine and Milwaukee. They went to Madison and they went to the Capitol, and they were going to different representatives' offices and telling them about the bill that we wanted them to propose, and we're just kind of talking to them and seeing like if they would support us with this. And some of them were definitely not on the same side as us, and some of them really were, but nothing really happened because they said it was too late for their session and things like that. But it was really nice to hear other kids' stories that were there, and it was exciting just to be with all those people.
Yeah, it was a big mobilization that day. So yeah, like as we mentioned, we got Mary Burke's support. Although she's holding a sign, can't really see it very good. But I mean, this was just last month. She was in the South Side. We met up with her, so you know, we definitely have her support. And now, you know, I'm not sure if we're still seeking for Scott Walker's support. I don't know if that's possible. Privately, I believe he said that he does support it, but that's all politics, of course. So, you know, we're still looking for answers.
Like he said, we want to take these pictures and make it public that people do support us. So we have like those kind of pictures of students saying that they support tuition equity. We also made flyers of statements that actual students said about tuition equity.
Yeah, and that's Chardonnay. Her name is Chardonnay. She's a yes student, yes member from Racine. She's actually one of the co-chairs for this whole campaign. We have like 3 co-chairs right now, and you know, we're hoping to do more of this type of marketing.
We have other people. We have teachers that took a picture with it saying that they support. We have Joe Coxa, also a supporter.
I mean, and as well as we had like, forgot the name of the website. I think it was called like Teespring, something like that. They make shirts, so we made these shirts. We have like buttons, you know, anything we can do for, you know, publicizing for marketing. So, you can go to the next one. What we're doing here, the latest thing we did was a tuition equity training. You know, we constantly hold these. This is probably the third one we had this year, and it was this past Sunday. You know, we took a picture like right over there. It was awesome. You know, if we have one again, I'll tell PSM about it. You want to comment anything about it?
Well, what we did there was basically what we went through already. We talked about the past of tuition equity. We talked about what we're doing next and the steps that we're going to do to get there.
Yeah, we held workshops in terms of how to recruit for the campaign, how to hold an event, a rally, anything. We really want people to, whoever takes this knowledge and, you know, applies it from wherever they're going to work on this campaign at. Like, that's only way we can succeed. Oh yeah, I mean, I think I kind of mentioned this briefly. So here, there's some friends who are in the SA Student Association. They also introduced a resolution for UWM to support tuition equity. And this was introduced this past Sunday, and it was tabled. So I think it's this weekend they're gonna table it too. But we have like two friends, two senators on there who support us. So they say most likely it will pass. Does anyone here know a little bit about that? Anybody in the SA? No? Okay. So, you know, that's one thing we're doing, and as well as public statements we're trying to get from deans. We always have the support of the Roberto Hernandez Center, the Latino Center here for students. So, you know, that's kind of what we're aiming for. You know, getting letters signed, having more of those pictures taken with the posters. So that's one of the things we're shooting for. But we're still kind of picking out the targets, like what deans. You know, we need support. And so yeah, the next big thing we have coming up is the statewide day of action, which is this upcoming this October, what is that, like 2 weeks from now? So yeah, we're gonna hold an action in the Space Plaza. That's like outside. I think everybody knows where that's at. So we're planning on having like a rally there. You know, it's part of the publicity. It's part of you know, overall just getting the word out about it here in the UWM. I don't think students know about it. Did anyone know about tuition equity, the campaign before this? I don't think, very few people. Don't be scared. You know, other chapters, as we mentioned, that we have other work teams, are going to be doing something too on this day. So, you know, high school students and then Racine and the Dream Scholars in Whitewater, they're going to be holding some type of social. I'm not sure, but you know, we're all doing it on this day, and you know, we're hoping, you know, it turns out really good. We just had a meeting before this. We talked about it. We made different committees for the event. I think that's all I can say about this, but really, if you want to get involved, we need as much support as possible. You know, anything. If you're good at making art, if you're an artistic person, you want to make posters, you need people, you can make flyers. You know, we can use any help. So I think there's like a sign-in sheet that we'll pass around. But yeah, this is really the last slide we had. You know, this is just some contact information about it. We do have a Twitter, Instagram, and a Facebook. We have a whole bunch of likes there. It's pretty sweet. That's just the name of our co-chairs. You know, we're a pretty diverse diverse organization. I mean, we had middle school students. Like my little brother, he's like joining guests at his school. He's buried like in 5th grade, and there's a chapter there. So we want to keep growing MATC just started like 2 weeks ago. Even Oshkosh, we have one of our members that went up there. And of course Madison, right? But that's in the works. So, any questions, complaints, concerns?
Do you happen to know what states other than Florida have tuition equity?
Like in-state without financial aid, or just in-state?
In-state tuition. Yeah.
I think Minnesota actually recently passed some type of legislation. I can't really remember. Yeah, definitely Minnesota. I would have to check up on that. Oh, actually, also New Jersey.
I think there's a total of 8 states that have in-state tuition.
I think New York does too.
Yeah, just 8 states, I'm pretty sure is the last thing I read, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, and I also forgot to mention in UWM, you can go through an appeal process. If you're an undocumented student, you can appeal it, and most people get it. I have friends who are undocumented, and you know they got granted in-state from here. However, I'm not sure about other UW schools.
I think Milwaukee's the only one.
Yeah, I mean, this is really, clandestine stuff. So you would have to go in the school and talk to the dean and ask if they do something like this. Any other questions?
Yeah, I have one. Am I totally making this up, or did you guys approach either the state assembly or the state senate last year with a similar tuition equity bill?
In 2013?
Yeah.
No, not last year.
When was the last time that a bill like this was, you attempted to float it through either one of those?
I mean, in 2009, I'm not sure how it was passed. It was an actual legislation. It was like part of the budget, I believe.
Okay.
And it was just taken out. So there hasn't been actual feasible legislation passed.
Can you explain one more time what undocumented means?
Sure. So, we find the word illegal to be pejorative, so we don't use that. It's essentially synonymous, right? If you do not have papers, right? If you're unauthorized. And another term I hope people are familiar with is dreamer, which refers to students who were brought here when kids who were brought here as immigrants when they were 3 years old. They grew up here, go to school here, and by the time they hit college, in this case, they would have to pay, in Wisconsin, they would have to pay out-of-state tuition. We consider them dreamers, and also a reference to the DREAM Act, federal legislation to grant a pathway to citizenship for these students that are undocumented. Any other questions? Don't be shy. Well, thank you for sitting down through this presentation, and we really need your support. We have our meetings Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. Our office, we actually share offices with SDS. However, they're inactive, completely inactive this year. But it's in Union 366. So y'all can catch us there. Like us on Facebook. We have a group. You can get involved. We're like also one of those radical student organizations on campus, as some of this administration has labeled us. So thank you.
So I'm sad to announce that unfortunately Students for Justice in Palestine couldn't be with us tonight. They tried really hard to find a member who was free at this time and who could come speak to us about the work they're doing, but unfortunately they weren't able to get it together. So.